A question that I get asked a lot is, do you need a winch? Now, I'm on my way to Lesotho for a snow tour, and it is probably the only tour in my season that I'm concerned about the winch. For one, icy conditions, if you slip into a ditch, you will not drive out of icy conditions if you're in a ditch. So you need to have something that is not your four tires that can get you out of the ditch. If I'm out in the sand and the rocks and the mud, there's always traction around, there's always a way to get yourself out. But when things start slipping, you want slow but proper powers to get you out of that. And that is slightly more than a tire biting on a rock, slipping, the car sliding around, things like that. So you want to go slow and steady and carefully to get everything back to a balance again. So, do you need a winch? A winch looks cool on a vehicle. It's got this big mechanical hook on the front, and it's got, some people put red ribbons on them, and it's all fancy. It's really like a tough looking vehicle if you have a winch on it. But a winch is a functional piece of equipment, and every piece of equipment that you have in the bush has its pros and its cons. For one, a winch will probably work only for one recovery in a day. Your batteries do not have enough power to run the winch all day long. You'll pretty much drain your battery on one solid recovery with your winch. So keep that in mind. A winch is not there to keep getting you out of trouble on the same day. Your batteries will have to recover. Secondly, you will probably damage your batteries because you will drain them too low if you use your winch for two recoveries on the same day. So be very aware of that. You can create more damage on the electrical side of things rather than mechanical. The second thing to think of is that you are working with extreme forces. The winch is rated at 8,500 pounds, which is about 4 tons. If you put 4 tons of strain on a wire rope and something breaks, you will have injury, you will have death. It's really a bad idea. So for me, a winch is always last resort. I do not go for a winch in any circumstances. If you've been on one of my trips, you will know a winch is at the bottom of the list. First we dig, then we dig some more, then we dig some more, deflate tires, use a snatch if we have to, but we do not go to winches. A winch is something that can cause serious harm very quickly, and it happens without you even thinking about it. You just need something to slip, something to break, a shackle, a hook, your tree, anything can break, and it can cause the trouble that you do not want. Another thing that is equally as dangerous is an air jack, the balloons, those big 1 meter balloons that lift your vehicle very high. The potential energy that you have with the vehicle sitting 1 meter in the air is so high that it will kill you if it falls off, if something punctures the jack or it falls over. They are really very, very dangerous. So whenever you work with those type of equipment, the things that stores a lot of energy, you have to be careful. 4 tons of pressure on a wire rope can damage a lot of things. It can damage your vehicle, it can take off your legs, it can kill you. So please be very careful when you ever buy a winch and when you ever decide to use that winch. It is not a toy. For a winch to be operated in factory conditions in South Africa, you will need a license to do it. You will have to be trained in heavy lifting, how to inspect shackles, how to inspect your soft slings, and that is a job on its own, just to operate this type of equipment. The fact that it's on your vehicle and you haven't had training in winch use doesn't make it safe. So please be very aware of that. When you use a winch, as I said, you can put some pressure on your battery systems. So it's always a good idea to leave the engine running while you're using a winch. It just helps with the supply of amperage that you need to run a winch like this. This winch will probably draw around 100 amps, 80 to 100 amps when I'm using it at its full capacity. And if you have a 100 amp battery and you can drain it to 50, and you're draining it in half an hour, you can probably you'll probably only be able to use about a third of the battery. So it's going to give you 20 minutes of use and the battery will be dead. So remember that it is going to limit you as how it can be used. Just a few tips on using a winch. As far as safety goes, always use leather gloves. You don't want to cut your hands. It's not something that you want on a trip. And because you work with such high forces, you can quickly cut the hand to an extent that you need stitches. So use your leather gloves. Secondly, bonnet open. The bonnet open prevents the cable when it breaks from hitting through and going through the windscreen. Whatever piece of steel comes with the cable, you don't want it to go through the vehicle. In many cases, your winch cable is long enough for you to be able to sit inside of the vehicle, away from danger, and then you basically can hide behind this as well. So, if ever you winch, you want to stand outside of the reach of a snapping cable. If that cable breaks, you need to be away. You get two types of winches. One is a cable-driven winch like I have here, but you also get a remote-driven winch, where you can literally stand 30 meters away with a remote in your hand and a winch. Those winches are the safest, because you are not close, you are not going to get damaged personally. Your vehicle might get some damage, but you will be fine, because you're standing far away. So whenever you're winching, make sure not to stand close to the cable in case it breaks. And that goes for bystanders as well. Often when we're busy with the recovery, we are looking at things that we need to do, and we do not realize that there are bystanders that's interested in what we're doing, standing inside the range of a cable that snaps. And the way to think of it is consider if the cable snaps here and goes that way. Also considers if the cable snaps that side and comes this way. Take the radius this side, take the radius that side, clear out everybody, make sure that they are gone, standing well beyond the reach of any cables. There's certain ways that you would fix shackles to your vehicle, and that's something that you would do in an advanced training course, is how to fix a shackle that if the shackle breaks, the shackle doesn't come flying towards you, but it flies off into the grass, into a perpendicular angle to winching. So you can make things a little bit safer in the way that you connect your winch to the vehicle. So bonnet up, use your rubber gloves, make sure everybody is cleared out of the way, and when you are ready and happy that everything is now safe and you can winch, you can press the button and you can start winching. Do it with care, stop when you need to stop, make sure that you do it slowly and controlled. It's not like a snatch where things have to be pressed and go. If you ever winch in a situation like that, you are doing it wrong, you're going to get hurt. A winch should be this thing doing the work, nothing else. Nobody should be pulling, nobody should be steering, nothing. Your vehicle should be ready just to be moved with the winch. You press the button, you move the vehicle to the position that you wanted, release the button, make sure that the tension is off the cable, and then it's safe to work around the vehicle again. Reset everything, make sure that you have what you need to do, press the button, move the vehicle a bit more. So do it like that. It's not a normal recovery where people are standing around and vehicles are moving. It's nothing like that. This is purely using a mechanical device to move two things closer together. So whether it's a tree or whether it's someone else's vehicle or whatever it is, be sure that this is doing the work. Nobody else is pushing, pulling or doing anything. You have to press the button and release the button, and that does the work. Nobody sits inside with their foot on the accelerator, spinning the wheels, nothing like that. It just doesn't work. You use the mechanical piece of equipment to get the vehicle out of trouble. Once it's out, you disconnect everything, pack it away, and then you can go again.